Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Bridget Tevan. I'm a registered teacher of health studies and specialise in relationships and sexuality education. I have over 16 years experience of delivering relationships and sexuality education programs of various different types to primary, post-primary students, to parents and to teaching staff. The programme I will be delivering to your children shortly is a 1-day 6-hour programme for transition students. So I'm looking forward to meeting your children. As this is just a 1-day programme and sex is a very sensitive topic, I have sent your child a short introduction to the programme and have advised them that, young people will come with different perspectives, and that's okay. We can have different values, and that's okay. It's just asking them to respect one another, and that's part of the learning process. So that diversity comes from every child's uniqueness, so their age, gender, ethnicity, their religious beliefs, personal traits, sexual orientation, the level of sex education they've received so far, and their personal experiences. So I understand when I go into a room of 20 or 30 students, the programme is not going to meet all of their needs. So as parents, you have to be realistic that school sex education is not going to be able to cover that, but you have that responsibility at home to be mindful of when there is opportunities, those learning moments that you tap in and check, does your child need some advice, some information, support. So this is the time you know that this topic is being brought in up, so maybe you might be able to start a conversation sometime soon. I'd just like to remind parents what the aim of this is: to help your child to develop into a sexually healthy adult. And what does that mean? What's the definition of sexual health? Well, the World Health Organization says sexual health is the integration of the physical, emotional, intellectual and social aspects of sexual being in ways that are enriching and that enhance personality, communication, love. Often we can get sort of caught up with the physical aspect of when we do sex education, but as a parent and as an educator, it's about putting it into context. It's about the physical aspects, but also about the child's emotional status, about the intellectual level and the social aspects of that. So the sex education on that day will be trying to put it into context for the children. Sex education is a very broad topic, and your child will be receiving a questionnaire with 18 different topics, and they can rate what is most important to them. But broadly speaking, we'll be talking about what is sex and talking about sex, about what's influencing their sexual health, also healthy and unhealthy relationships, about sexual orientation, and about the law and consent. But there is a questionnaire at the end which will give you more detail of the topics covered. The programme is only 6 hours long, but is there to give your child an opportunity to be able to open up, openly discuss some of the topics that are of interest to them, to be more informed, to develop some skills, to get answers to some of their questions, and to reflect on their own personal values, and hopefully develop respect for people with different values, and to be thoughtful about the responsibilities and develop their own self-esteem. If you think about it like your child learning to drive, I think that's an excellent way. They need factual information, but they also need to develop the skills. They're not going to be brilliant at driving initially, and they do need guidance. Young people are learning about sex from they are a baby, and it's parents initially that have a huge input, but of course the media, their peers, sex education in school, but parents are still an untapped resource where young people want to check out things. Do you realise that 65% of 15 to 16-year-olds say they have viewed pornography, and yet do they be able to ask questions, and yet that might communicate the wrong information or sexual values? What about alcohol and consent? Have you talked about those things? Parents can have these conversations in an everyday setting, in a safe place where it's one-to-one, and that you understand your child and how to have those conversations with them. Young teenagers can seem very confident, as if they know it all, and of course their ability to talk about sex, and sex is more open in today's society in one way than it was maybe when you were younger, but still, how accurate is the information that young people are getting? So if you want to support your child, listen to them, arm yourself with information, make sure they have somebody that they can turn to and talk to, be open in discussing the topic. Support your child's level of comfort. There'll be some young people who really struggle, to talk on the topic. So maybe, even a book, you can go and research a book, or, choose a moment when you can just talk in brief. Boys would often say to me that their parent over talks to them. So it's getting those 5 minutes. Respond positively to learning moments. So something's on the TV or on the radio when you're in the car together, and just say, what's your thoughts on that? What do the rest of your friends think about that? Also share your family beliefs. Okay, well, I know that's the way that many people think, but actually, this is the way I think. So be respectful of other people's views and values, but do communicate your own family values as well. Just summing up what research says that young people want from their parents, it's to be respected, to be given factual information in a very straightforward way, to be supported and sometimes reassured, and to have somebody they can trust to talk to. All transition students would have been given a questionnaire. It has 18 topics of interest, and they were to rate them of what was of interest or importance to them just at this moment in time. In the 6-hour session you can't cover everything, but it does come back and give me an indication of what is most important to them as a group. But there is a copy of the same questions that your child has received for parents to fill in or not fill in, just to read through. It's just so you can have a look at all the topics that they will have the opportunity to discuss if they so wish. So it's about reproduction, it's about anatomy, it's about pornography, it's about alcohol and sex, the normal stuff that you would imagine. So if you want to fill it in, great. If you just want to read through it, you can read through it. And thank you very much for listening to this. Thank you.